Hello, Helin. Do you remember back in COVID-19 when Trump made that weird statement suggesting that injecting disinfectant might be the cure to the pandemic?
Yeah, Luna, I vividly remember how people actually believed him. Looking back at the absurdity, it's easy to laugh, but in the moment, it had real consequences. I mean, public confusion, media frenzy, and even cases of poisoning.
We can all agree that the COVID-19 pandemic was a time of hysteria. It was a time of confusion and especially a time of increasing misinformation.
The most bewildering part, how social media turns an unqualified, unchecked source into one that seems to be reliable. I mean, people actually believed what Donald Trump said, even though he said that he wasn't a doctor. This moment exemplifies a bigger issue, however, how political discourse has changed in the digital era, where misinformation spreads faster than facts. Information that is radical, eye-catching, and even algorithmically amplified blurs the distinction between reality and fiction.
Social media, while connecting billions, is therefore also driving us further apart, fueling political polarization, as the same news can be portrayed differently on each website or sources and also by unverified sources. Today, we'll explore how political communication on social media accelerates division, why that matters for our society, and what we can do to counteract its effects. Let's break it down. Social media platforms prioritize engagement, often undermining or forfeiting the truth. The more outrageous a post, the more engagement it gets. A study by Binghamton University said that more eccentric or extreme posts tend to gather more likes or views. This is because the algorithms reward us on what keeps us scrolling, not what keeps us informed. In fact, Europol predicts that by 2026, 90% of online content may be synthetically generated using artificial intelligence. Isn't that crazy?
That's a huge number.
This means that misinformation and sensationalism can spread rapidly, shaping public opinion based on engagement rather than accuracy. As a result, algorithms will reinforce their existing beliefs by continuously feeding us the same content. This is called the echo chamber effect.
That's right, Luna. I mean, imagine you're in a room surrounded by mirrors that solely reflect your own opinion back at you. That's what social media does. It curates content based on what you already believe and already support. That makes you perceive a different reality. And when this is met with political opinions, it can get especially dangerous, as people are then provoked to act upon that.
Well said, Haley. A recent example of this took place on January 6, 2021 in the US, in which an angry Republican mob, fueled by Donald Trump's vocal claims of election fraud, attacked the Capitol in hopes of reclaiming Trump's presidency. However, the attack was less a spontaneous incident and more an attack on democracy and the rule of law. Driven by false claims of poll deceptions, fueled by conspiracy theories and misinformation online, and propagated by people of power, the result triggered mass violence and emotion-backed conflicts. The digital divide is not just ideological, it's a real-world problem that breeds aggression and fragments our society, posing a real threat to our democracy.
Precisely, and a fully blooming example of governments utilizing social media to twist the narrative in their favor can be observed in seemingly democratic countries, where they go as far as banning social media completely. Such incidents underscore the government's efforts to control dissenting voices while maintaining the illusion of democratic governance. However, this could mean a total collapse of democracy in those countries. The intertwining of state-controlled media and social media platforms creates an environment where the ruling party can control public discourse. This dynamic not only suppresses opposition, but also deepens divides within society. Internationally, similar tactics have been employed by other governments seeking to control perception and stifle dissent.
On October 7, 2023, following Hamas' attack on Israel, the Israeli Foreign Affairs Ministry pushed dozens of online ads, including graphic videos, to millions of Europeans in hopes of drumming up support and also justify or shape opinion about the war. Justifiable or not, this is an example of how a governmental power utilizes and also manipulates social media to its own advantage. By providing only its own perspective, Israel builds up its own narrative, neglecting other views, ultimately resulting in polarizing opinions and misinformation.
And that is especially important considering the current state of Germany. I mean, we're witnessing a decline of democracy firsthand through the German election results. We have all seen how the German far-right party AfD has continued to gain support, as their voter count has nearly doubled since the 2021 elections, as seen behind me, resulting in them being the second strongest party in parliament. One of the arguably main reasons for this is the pivotal role social media plays in marketing their ideology. Through hashtags, bots, video content, and slogans such as Sei schlau, wähl blau, they spread their ideology online, making it seem as though their opinions are widely supported. This shows how social media is being used as a political tool to alter opinions and manipulate the audience for their favor.
But we are not powerless. There are concrete steps we can take to ensure a more united and informed society. Countries should adopt media literacy programs, as seen in Finland, in which students are taught to critically analyze news sources, recognize bias, and also identify misinformation at a very young age.
Exactly. And you can start doing this yourself by taking responsibility for verifying information. Websites such as All Sides offer a range of perspectives between comparing left views, central views, and right views, so you can make your own decision of what is right. Lateral reading, checking multiple reputable sources, should become your habit in digital consumption. The power to combat misinformation and political polarization lies in your hands. By demanding accountability, prioritizing education, and fostering critical thinking, we can rebuild a public discourse grounded in truth rather than sensationalism. Now is the time to act. Stand together. Be critical. Because democracy depends on an informed society. It depends on all of us.
Thank you.